Well, hello people. Morning. It's Sunday. It's also the day we're supposed to put all the clocks forward. Or I think it's forward. Yeah, forward. And everything else to go with that. So I hope you remembered. Not that I do, but yeah, I hope you remember to put your clocks forward and whatever. Me personally, I will be doing what I do every year and ignoring it and being half hour late for everything all summer. But that's alright, I make up for it in the winter where I'm half hour early for everything. So there you go. Bloody daft concept. Yeah. So yeah, good morning on this lovely sunny morning. Wasn't sunny earlier, but it's sunnying up now. The wind's a bit strong. Might be a bit foggy in here, and that's because the wind's been blowing back through the chimney and chuffing smoke into everything. But other than that, yeah, it's all good. Right, so I'm going to get back to me painting. Where did I leave you yesterday? I left you about there, didn't I? Or was it there? I don't know. About there. So yeah, as you can see, a bit foggy, a bit hazy. As usual, start as I mean to go on with the old coffee. It's my baby. Cheers everyone. It was my mate's birthday. I don't know whether I think it's today. There's actually a few people's birthdays that day. I'm not good at remembering them without Facebook, but hey, there are. So if I haven't said anything to you or wished you happy birthday on Facebook, I wish you happy birthday now. If it's your birthday today, I wish you happy birthday. Yeah, and I hope it's a good one for you. So, what am I doing today? Well, today we're going to do what we do every day, Jeffrey. What's that, Jeffers? You're going to paint, Jeffrey. Fair enough. Well, if you think it's okay, I think it's okay. I think it should be fine. I think it should be just fine. So, yeah, today I'm going to be painting for a change. Here we go. Yeah, add some paint to things. See what happens. See what I can come up with. Yeah. Now, I bet you're wondering what this is. Well, I don't know what colour it was in the thing, in the film, but I'm doing a bright yellow sock. I don't know what colour it was in the film. It might have been a black sock or a blue sock or whatever. But the young lady I'm painting this for is into Gryffindor, I believe. And The colours are yellow. So, yellow sock. Is she a Hufflepuff? Oh, she's a something. Is it a Hufflepuff? I don't know. I'm going to have a look. I printed some stuff off to see what was going on with it. Let's see if I can find what I printed. Give me an idea where I go from here. Pile of stuff because not only do I have to paint the jacket, I have a go at painting her boots too. So yeah, so I've got some little photos. Just give me an idea of what's what. We'll see what makes it to her boots. Shall we? Ah, there we go. What's this? What is she? Yeah, I thought so. Yellow. It's got a badger on it. I think that's Hufflepuff. Possibly. So yeah. This is the shock you're getting. It does help when you do these things to remember the mix. Now I need some darkening agents, obviously. I think I was going to tell you about some of the horror weekends I used to go to years ago. I think that was the last thing I said I was going to do last night. So, well, I used to run back in the day horror weekends and that role play thing, where basically people would pay me to scare them, which was fun. I must admit it was fun. It's I didn't do it alone. Other people that helped me to achieve it and have fun with it. My mate Colin, I haven't spoke to for a long time, but my mate Colin and Mark and Mike and Marie, Steve, Mike and Mike, couple of Jeffs, other than me that was, and yeah, good days. Really good days. Good times too. But we used to go to a little campsite, a little scout campsite. I don't think it's still there now. I think it's gone. Which bordered onto Stansted Airport. I think they knocked it down to make another runway or something, but or another terminal. But yeah, we used to run out of there, out the back of Stansted Airport, and get up to shenanigans and stuff. Well, I'm going to tell you about one very special event that we did, which was just brilliant. So, if you can picture it, some paranormal investigators and occultists and reporters, with a couple of ex-army, which were basically the characters that came down to play. These are the characters the people had chosen to play, and my job was to give them a storyline in which to play it in. So the storyline I gave them was loosely based on a film I'd seen. That had Ozzy Osbourne in it as a preacher of all people, but yeah, it was good. It was good. It was a good fit. So anyway, yeah. Thank you, wind. That's what I wanted. Ash being blown at me through my own fire. So anyway, they're the characters, and the scenario for it was based around, whoa, calm your whatevers, was based around this film. So I've asked a friend of mine if he could get hold of a couple of smoke bombs so that we could make the hut look like it was on fire. Basically, so that for dramatic effect or whatever, to carry the storyline forward. That's what I asked him to do. Of course, my mate said, yeah, no problem, I can get you some smoke. So I left it with him. I used to leave different jobs with different people to get different things, because I couldn't obviously get all the props and stuff myself. I didn't have the time to make all the props and stuff myself, so some stuff I had to sort of hand out to my monster crew, as I call them. And they'd be the people that'd be playing all the extras. It kind of like Murder, She Wrote, but with a lot more gore. You know, like these, if you go to some hotels nowadays, they do murder mystery nights with a dinner. And you've got to go around solving all the puzzles. Well, it's pretty much like that, but only a lot more gore. And a lot more pyros. So we had flashbangs and this, that and the other going off and everything. But anyway, this was the point where we wanted to represent that the hut had gone on fire. And we'd done the hut up like a stately home. Well, you have to use your imagination, obviously, and role players are very good at that. So anyway, so my mate gets hold of this smoke thing. I says, you got it? He says, yeah. Sets it off. It turns out that this smoke thing that he'd got was one of those things that you hide tanks with on a battlefield. And it was chucking out smoke for about 4 hours. We only wanted it to chuck out enough smoke to sort of fill the hut, but actually we filled the hut, the field and everything else. And anyway, cut a long story short, eventually the smoke petered out and people could get in there and check that the props we'd put in there, like the burnt body we put in there, and lots of burnt paperwork and stuff that we'd put about there, just burnt enough so it covered some of the key details, but enough there for them to sort of deduce what was going on. But yeah, 4 hours this thing was chucking out smoke, and didn't think any more of it. Carried on the rest of the day, and at one point I'm covered in blood, fake blood, bits of fake entrails hanging out of me and looking a bit worse for wear. And one of my friends, I think it was Adam actually, was stood over me with a big rubber axe that for all the world looked like a real axe, but it was only made out of rubber, and was kicking me to make sure that I was actually dead, as this lone copper drives up the driveway of the scout camp, to which I thought, he looks a bit worried, I better get up and explain. Not thinking that obviously I'm covered in claret and whatever, and 5 seconds ago he thought I was dead on the floor. So I gets up and I walks over to this police car, and the policeman opens the window about this much. What's going on? Well, I explained to him we was having a game and whatever, and you know there was a party of people running around the woods being lunatics, but you know for all intents and purposes we were supposed to be there. We were allowed, we had permission, and we paid for the site for this role play event. And this was back in the days before reenactments and live role play was a well, reenactments has been a big thing, but role play was relatively new. It was a niche thing, if you like. Not a lot of people knew what was going on, and those that did know what was going on and wasn't into it or wasn't involved in it just thought we were a bunch of nutters. Which, to be fair, yeah, they weren't far wrong. But it turns out the reason he turned up was our little smoke bomb had drifted across Stansted Airport and stopped flights coming in and going out. Oh my God. So yeah, and of course at the time it was also at a time when there'd been these pipe bomb threats of people threatening to, well, there was a lot of terrorist activity at the time as well, which didn't help matters. So yeah, there was I explaining this copper. Well, eventually we got a password from the airport so that we'd phone them up and say, right, we're down this weekend, be silly buggers. There's probably going to be a lot of noise and some flashbangs and whatever. Just to let you know we're going to be there. And they'd send a customary fella down to check it was us and then leave us to our own devices. But we had several such incidents. One incident we had, we're all running around with blank firers and BB guns in the woods, be silly asses as usual. Paid for. It was a private site. For all intents and purposes, it was locked down. There was nobody on site that was not allowed on site. And we ended up with full-on armed to the teeth crack police unit turning up to see what we were doing and what was going on. At the time we had some guy in a full NBC suit stood in a makeshift pillbox with a big plastic M60 as these guys turned up with the real thing, demanding to know why there was a military operation going on in this area. They hadn't been informed and they needed to speak to my commanding, or this poor fella's commanding officer. At which point I gets a phone call saying, Jeff, I think we got a problem. To which I went up and greeted all these guys with machine guns and said, look, this is what we're doing. You're welcome to leave someone here. Matter of fact, send someone down, they can check all the guns out and everything. And if you want, you can beast some of our players, because I couldn't pay for that kind of, you know, that kind of proppery. And by all accounts, it made for a brilliant weekend. And this was long before you needed insurances or anything else to run such events. Nowadays, of course, to do something like that, you need all kinds of insurances. Now that's where the world has really gone mad. This insurance lark it's just a reason to make money as far as I'm concerned. But they've got to be in place. something we inherited from America that we don't really need and we should never have bothered with is this sue and sue mentality. Definitely something America can keep, as far as I'm concerned. Because nowadays there's no such thing as an accident. There's someone responsible for everything, which is bloody stupid, as far as I'm concerned. But hey, as far as I know, no one got seriously hurt at one of our events, which I'm glad about, because, you know, I don't want to see people get seriously hurt at one of my events. But at the same token, my attitude is, you know the risks when you come onto these things. But yeah, just my opinion, mind. So yeah, so these horror weekends, you know, we had some fun with them. I've got to say, we did have some fun with them. And we were running for about 5 years, 5-6 years, until I moved up here, too far away in order to carry on the game, as it were. So I thought some of the lads would have carried it on, but obviously when I left, the soul of the group left. So there were other things going on. There were other events going on, other people running other different events, but the horror weekends, they kind of went to the wall. It's a real shame, but there you go. I must admit, I do find myself missing them guys every now and again, because they were a great bunch. They were just as bloody mad as I was, and I was the same one in the bunch, honest gov. But yeah, I often wonder what they're up to now. When they get quiet times, this is a quiet time, and I'm thinking just that now. I wonder what they're up to now. Yeah. Yeah, there was a few of us that used to do it. I can't remember all the names. I wish I could. Age has a habit of doing that to you, killing memories, killing your memory cells. Seems like. Every time I go to say a sentence, I lose half the words in my head before I say them. Yeah, this senility lot is not all it's cracked up to be. Still, you know. It's supposed to be a mini motor or something similar. I couldn't find anybody wheeling a mini motor online. So. I'm shrinking a big bag. Bit of paint, obviously. and we shall go from there. I've got one to do, I was wrong there, yeah. Scarlet, that's a red. Pop that in there. That's it. The wind's a bit blowy today. The wind is definitely a bit blowy today. Yeah. So, I am going to do Adam's bike, egg, I won't worry about the lights in a bit. Yeah, that's better. That's not too bad. Can't wait to at least the college uniform. I remember one time I made some bottles. I made out of wax, and the idea being that I filled them with fake blood and made beer bottles out of wax, so that you could smack people with them and get a full effect, and yeah, it was just for giggles. And then at the end of one of the events, one of the girls there, I'm trying to think of her name, I can't remember her name. She was a lovely lady, but I can't remember her name. What was her name? Anyway, at the end of the event, one of these bottles hadn't been used, so she found me while I was sat there in all my kit to go home, and she bottled me. It was funny. It was funny, I won't admit. It was cool. But it set her up for the biggest payback I've ever done to anyone. Involving a fake chainsaw. Got time for this? Yeah, we've got time for this. So yeah, so I made this fake chainsaw. Well, a buzzsaw, like a floor cutting saw, for cutting paving slabs. I made a fake one that made all the noises of a chainsaw, thanks to a friend of mine who knew how to do electronics, a guy called Adam. He made me a soundboard for it. Genius fella. And it also spat blood, fake blood, via a reservoir inside, about 30 feet over the top of the blade. And the pump was a Ford Escort window wiper pump, wired into a little 12-volt battery. And the plan was that they'd been egging her up all day. You know, Jeff's been hiding in the shed and he's been working on this thing. Yeah, and be careful, watch it, Jeff's been in there all day, banging and hammering away. Of course, I've been hiding in the shed, just eating random things and whatever for about 2 hours. When it was just getting dark and we'd set up lights and stuff, and I stepped into this doorway at the sort of prescribed time with this chainsaw and held it above my head like proper Leatherface style, and she lost it, and I went chasing in there after her, and she just collapsed on the floor. So I've gone down to pretend to chop her up, because it was all made out of rubber. There was no real danger there, but where they'd been geeing her up all day, she thought there was, obviously, which was great, because her thinking that meant that everybody else in the room thought that, apart from the rest of the Monsters crew that knew what I was up to. And then of course I've pressed the button for the fake blood to come out, covering fake blood, because that was the initial, you know, she covered me in fake blood, I was going to cover her in fake blood. Yeah. Tit for tat, blah blah blah. But no blood had come out, And I thought, what's going on here? So I stood up, and as I stood up, the reservoir turned the right way up. The pump was able to pump blood, and I managed to cover everyone else apart from her in fake blood. So best laid plans and all that. But she was a great sport. She really was. And I do miss her. I miss them all, to tell the truth. But the only things I miss from London are the friends and the pie and mash. Everything else, well, I'm not a big lover of London anyway, I'll tell you. I'm not a big lover of cities. I prefer the country all day, every day. Yeah, definitely. Prefer the city, the country to the city. Getting out. So here we go. Let's put it off. So wherever you are now, darling, I hope you're happy and I hope you're safe. Know that I remember you, even if I don't remember your name. I want to say Sally, but I know it's not Sally. It's not Sally. I don't know. Who it is. Oh, there was a guy, brilliant guy. I used to like to do fight stunts with because he was so good. He really was. You could literally throw him or pretend to throw him anywhere and he'd fall and land, and he was just amazing, absolutely amazing. I think his name's Steve. But yeah, he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And yeah, I lost touch with him as well. This is a shame, but yeah. And if I've got your name wrong, fella, I apologise. Yeah. Top bloke. Top bloke. Top bloke. Cerulean. It's blue. so. What do you think? Coming on? Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we can do with what we've got. Always. Well, that's a lot for today. I shall see you tomorrow. Be good to each other. Be safe. I love you all. Bye.